should have been a cowboy. I should have learned to rope and ride.
What's up, baby?
Not too much, dude. Just hiding from the rain. Got a fresh coffee here.
Atta boy. Cowboy
got some-
Cole is getting rained on. First time in how many years did you say?
They had said it hasn't rained down here in like 150 plus days. Wow. Isn't that insane?
That's crazy.
That's so long.
I was going to say 100 and some years. All right, Cowboy Cole, last time we spoke, you were about to head to a big roping down there, win a truck. Is the truck in the driveway?
No, I had to bring the old Dodge back, buddy. It did not go the way the kids needed it to go, but still a successful day, honestly. There was 480 teams, which honestly, probably pretty lucky. I bet you they were expecting like 800 to 1,000. They kept the entries open an hour later than the flyer said it was going to be, so I think they were just trying to let as many people late enter as possible. I headed really good. I missed one steer all day, which not too bad.
Yeah.
And I needed more guys to catch for me on the heel side. Honestly, like my first draw partner, he missed our second one. My second guy, that's who I made the short round with, and we had to do some work. We were clean in the first arena. He roped a leg on our second one, and then we went 5-3 on our third one, dude. Put us back in it, which was rank.
Oh.
And then my third guy, I missed our second one, and my last draw partner, we roped a leg at the back end. And we're too long. There was a 15-second cutoff. But came back to the short round, 24th high call out of 480 teams. Not too bad. And we were only 5 seconds.
Huge.
Yeah, dude, we were only 5 seconds off of first high call. There was only 3 teams that were 21 on 3 coming in the short round, and the rest were 24 to 29 seconds on 3, and we were 26-6. So, I mean, we were right there, dude. It paid 10 monies. We had a chance. And dude, my poor kid, he freaking rolled around there and healed him and couldn't get dallied.
Oh.
But it was a great day, man. It was cold.
That's
down there,
roping,
though.
bro. That's roping. That's rodeo. It's just a good day to be on the back of a horse doing what you love and you know, and no expectations, right? You've been doing this long enough that it'd be nice to win the truck, but guess what? It'd be nice to just go out there and have some fun as well, right?
At the end of the day, I showed up there with the game plan of getting good starts and turning good cattle for my healers, and I did that. So I left there stoked because Ledoux, man, that's his first like big jackpot like that, where we were up in the first 200 of teams. Like we were like team 30, team 120, team 180, team 220, and then we had to wait like 3 hours for the short round. So it was a perfect test for Ledoux to like show up, go to work, have some time off, and then have to get back into that rhythm to then run the one for money. And dude, he handled it great. So at the end of the day, it was a huge stepping stone for Ledoux, and now I have that much more confidence to take him to something that big, take him to something bigger, right?
Yes, sir. Building blocks. It's so true, right, Cole? You don't realize like how hard it is to actually do this and win. But that's another factor is that these ropings are taking 1 day, 2 days, and your horse may be sitting there for 5 hours not doing anything, and then bam, he's got to turn it back on. And you as well, right? Not only
you as well,
but the competitors as well. I know it's really hard to explain for people that don't rodeo because, you know, if you're playing soccer, it's the game. You know what I mean? You're playing that game, and then tomorrow you have another one if you make it through. But with roping, like you may rope and then wait 5 hours before you get to do it again, and that lull can be really hard on you. And who actually won the truck? Do you know?
I don't know. I was over sulking and unsaddling. No, I was good. But yeah, no, I just went right back to the trailer, started unsaddling, and I couldn't really hear from where I was parked compared to the arena. So I don't even know if the short round fell apart or anything. I didn't really hear who won the truck. And I did look on Rancho Rio's website, and they didn't have anything up yet. So, but yeah, dude, I'm going to see that thing driving around. I'm going to be like, oh, you son of a bitch, I wanted you.
That should have been mine.
But dude, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited to build some more content around that too, of like going to these big truck ropings, prioritizing like bigger paying jackpots that I got to put up, say 300 a man, but it's gonna pay 15,000 a man to win. Like, how dope would that be?
Oh, freaking really dope! Is that what the entry fees were for the roping?
This one was 200 a man.
200 man. Interesting for the folks at home that aren't used to team roping, tie down roping jackpots. You got to pay to play. What is the average down there? 200, 300? How does it usually work?
Usually like an everyday jackpot that I'll go to will be like, 150 a man, pick one, draw one, or let's say 180 a man, and you'll get 3 runs for that one entry. So it would break down to $60 a run, and it's nice to go there, enter once, get 3 guys, and see how it goes.
Wow. Okay, well, On that note, speaking of money and Arizona, we have Nick Tetz tonight on the show. He, of course, rides for the Arizona Ridge Riders
Hmm.
in the PBR teams, and he is your 2024 PBR Canada champion. This kid was on Fuego last year. He also won it in 2022, broke records this year. I mean, last year, sorry, I forget. We're in 2025 already,
Yeah.
but super excited to chat to Nick. You know him. He's a Calgary boy, right, Cole? It's tough to see a Calgarian from the city making his stamp in the rodeo world, eh?
Yeah, dude. He's been an absolute force. He switched from strapping on the blades every day and hitting the ice to strapping to bulls, man. So I'm really excited to talk to him about his process of the transition and how much his team dynamic in all the, all the, I guess, functionality things that they teach you in hockey, how he's applied it into the rodeo and into, I mean, now a team setting, riding bulls with the Arizona Ridge Riders, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm
Yes,
excited
sir. That's
to.
got to give him an extra edge compared to all the other guys, right? You
Because
would
yeah,
think.
much like a hockey team, man, people have their roles, whether goal scorer, fighter, hype guy, whatever.
Exactly.
You can take that team dynamic into riding bulls with the boys. So let's get to
That's
old
it.
Nick Tetz.
Let's get to it from pucks to bucks.
You got me?
We got you, buddy.
All
How are
right,
you?
perfect. I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing good, man.
Ooh, I like the buckles in the back, bro.
Yeah, this is where I do all the different interviews and stuff I got to do. So I'm like, I figure it's a good backdrop.
Oh, it's a
Absolutely, got to
it's
flex
an
on him a
amazing.
little bit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Where you at right now?
Just at home. Yeah, just
Okay.
at home up by living up by Alsike.
Okay.
So kind of 45 minutes straight west of Leduc.
That's
Oh,
cowboy country right there. That's
Yeah.
cowboy country right there. First of all, congratulations. You guys won this past weekend against the
Yeah.
Wildcatters, right? PBR teams made a small appearance there till the season kicks off in July. I saw you were down there. You were hyping everyone up.
Yeah.
Tell us about that experience, buddy.
Yeah, it's cool what the PBR is doing with the teams and kind of adding it into the individual season. It's helped giving guys another opportunity to get onto that individual tour and go after a world title. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was a crazy day. I was kind of happy I wasn't getting on, which I just had a little bit of a wrist injury and want to come back and know I'm ready to go. So
Bro, I was gonna
I
say
sat
though,
out
for
the
the
weekend.
for the wrist injury, you were on the flag pretty hard there. I hope that wasn't the wrist
Other
that was
one.
injured.
It was the other
All
wrist.
right.
Other wrist.
Okay.
working
Okay.
that free
Free arm.
arm.
So yeah. Yeah, no, but it was pretty crazy. We had James Harrison there and Brett Kiesel, like two-time Super Bowl champs, and then I had Jeff Carter showing me around the Penguins locker room, and Matt
What?
Barkowski, who played in Calgary for a little bit too. It was like I was like shaking like the entire time. I'm
Oh
like I
my
told
God.
I told Colby, I was like, it's a good thing I'm not getting on because I would not do any good right now. I'm so wound up, and I got to meet Steve Carlson, who played one of the Hanson brothers in Slapshot.
No
Oh,
And
way.
come
yeah, I got a
on.
picture with him. So like, yeah, I was pretty sick too. Like, yeah, it was crazy. Like the amount of people that I got to meet that in such a niche group for a hockey kid, it was pretty unreal.
Oh man, that had to have hit home so hard that people wouldn't even understand.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and I think like none of the boys understood what was going on. I'm like, it's like meeting Donnie Gay, but you're meeting Donnie Gay like seven different Donnie Gays. I'm like, this is like I got to go into the Penguins locker room and look at Crosby's stall and
Wow.
they gave me a jersey and yeah, it was pretty crazy. I was
No.
like, yeah, I still remember. I'm still a little upset at my dad, but um during the 2010 Olympics when they were in Vancouver and it was the gold medal game and it was Canada versus US and it was like I think it got into the third period or something and it was tied still and
Oh, and oh,
it went to OT and Crosby scored the golden goal. I didn't even get to see it because my dad made me go to my Sunday afternoon skate and it wasn't even for like my regular hockey team or anything. It was just like
no.
it was just like a skill session that I go do every week. But he's like, I was like, can I please miss it? Like it's the gold medal game, and he's
It's
like, no, you
the
got to
gold
go
medal.
because if you want to be there, eventually this is what it takes. And I was like, I'm sure one session isn't going to make a difference, Dad, but okay.
Hockey
Oh my
dad,
God,
hockey
dude.
dad.
Yeah.
Bro,
You were
I
the only
remember
one
that.
there?
No,
Yeah.
I think everybody still showed up actually, which was kind of crazy. But normally all the dads would sit there, they'd sit and kind of stand in the corner and watch like the whole skill session. But they were all standing around a TV watching the game. Like there
No.
was nobody at the
No, that
rink.
shouldn't have been
Yeah.
allowed. I'd have been like, Dad, you get your
Yeah.
ass over to this
Yeah.
glass. If I can't watch it, you ain't
100%.
watching it. You're watching me,
Yeah,
Dad.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, I remember that game like it was yesterday. I was at a bar, my buddy flipped a table. Like the table almost hit the ceiling.
Oh
Like
yeah.
man, when Sid came across and scored that goal, that's a highlight of
Yeah.
my childhood. But that puts us right into the perfect spot of the interview, Nick, to talk about your love and passion for hockey. You're obviously saying,
Yeah.
being in Pittsburgh, how cool is that? Seeing where Sid
Yeah.
it's suited up. You played AAA hockey, brother. Like that is
Yeah.
baffling to me that you're able to be so good at one sport and then make the transition and become so good at bull riding. Tell us a bit about growing up and how far you went with hockey.
Yeah. So growing up, like I think I think I got a pair of skates for Christmas. I think it was my second Christmas, or it might have been
Wow.
my first Christmas. I don't know.
Wow.
But 5 days later was my birthday, and I had a pair of, or no, I got a pair of skates earlier in the year, like kind of when you could go out on the ODR, and so
Yes,
mom and
sir.
dad went to Canadian Tire and got me a pair of skates, and so I was walking around in the basement on the carpet, so I already had the balance already figured out on them. So I
Wow.
was skating before I was even 2 years old, and um, just kind of being a kid from Canada, just growing up in the city, and that's all I really wanted to do is just play hockey. So, my parents, I was very fortunate with my parents. They gave me every opportunity that they could to make me the best possible hockey player that I could be, and eventually it was one of those things where I kind of almost just got hockeyed out. I was playing high level hockey with the Royals from when I was in grade grade six, I think, or grade five or something like that. And it and then I was on the ice 3 days a week with school too. I was going to sports school and just outside of Calgary. So, between that and then the 6 days a week on the ice for the Royals, it was just like it got to be too much to where I didn't really love it anymore. And um kind of around the time when I started to get a little burnt out from hockey, I think Dad realized that I was kind of becoming a bit of a spoiled hockey kid, and so he called up Dwayne and Ashbacker, who's Dwayne and Judy are my godparents, and I basically grew up around the Ashbackers. But Dad called Dwayne up and said, "Hey, do you got some jobs out there for Nick?" And he sent me out there for a week or a week and a half or something like that, and um, yeah, learned how to drive, and I had to put a pillow under my on my seat so I could see over the steering wheel, and um, yeah, I went around and helped Dwayne out around the ranch there, and then Dad came to pick me up and asked me if I wanted to get on a steer, and he seemed really excited, and I was way too scared to say no to him, even though I was pretty terrified and didn't really want to do it. And then yeah, just kind of after that, it was just like it wasn't all in on that, but it was one of those things where it was like I kind of want to do that again, and then kept doing it, and then eventually just kind of leveled up to where it was like this is all I want to do. And I think Mom still has the picture at the house from my first rodeo. Is at Riding on Stone, the Chinook rodeo, and uh, I got a picture of this cow, and I'm hunched over, don't look good at all. She's barely bucking out there, and but I still got a check for it. It was like $66 or something like that. And
Let's
so mom
go.
mom took a photocopy of it and put it in the frame. And yeah, and then kind of ever since that I was just kind of hooked. But yeah, like growing up playing hockey, it was awesome. I think it really helped give me some value when the PBR teams came around.
Mhm.
Not really knowing that it was going to come, but when it did, that was one of the things that I knew I could bring to a team, is that I grew up playing a team sport. Like I was team first mentality all the time. So, um, I was always my last couple years of hockey, I always had a letter and, always a leader in the locker room and everything like that. So, this year when we had some issues with a visa for me for getting down there because this year we needed a visa because of the guaranteed money. Colby kept calling me and telling me, man, we miss you. We can't wait to have you back because we just need someone in that locker room to get the boys going. So, it's pretty cool to hear that. But yeah, I definitely still miss it at times. But I definitely feel like I made the right choice. I don't think I would have got to go into the Penguins locker room if I was still playing hockey.
Yeah, dude, talk about that a little bit of like, because you become brothers with your teammates on a hockey team and you spend so much time with them, whether it's in a locker room, on a bus, traveling to games, and then you switch into bull riding, which can be a very singular community, right? Like you're there, it's you against your bull.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a couple traveling partners, but now they've reintroduced that team dynamic. How nice has that been to incorporate into now your new world of riding bulls, but now you get that team camaraderie again.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. It's really special because all of the guys on our team, like they become like brothers, just like how it is with hockey and your traveling partners too. Yeah, Keyshawn and Colton Fritzlin, those guys become like some of my best friends. And if Keyshawn would be able to get across the border, he would have been in my wedding too. And Colton was in my wedding, and didn't know him as long as some of my other buddies that I had in there, but it's just you kind of have that same mentality as everybody, and you get this bond with them. And some of them you've seen them at their highest of highs, and you've seen them at their lowest of lows when it seems like they can't stay on anything. So um it's pretty cool. And even I feel like even with your traveling partners too, you get super close to them. With me and Chance Switzer traveled last year together, and we rode steers a little bit together, but we weren't really like super close. And then last year it was like he kind of moved out to Olds, and we were like, well, I think we can make this work. We can meet up at a spot and hop in with each other. And yeah, I think we would barely listen to music. We just sit there and talk and keep on driving. And there's a lot of times we didn't have to drive through the night, but we were just like, I'm not tired. Like, let's just keep going because we're gonna do is we're gonna lay in the bunk beds in the back and still keep talking to each other. So we might as well keep making miles. So yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
I got a glimpse of like Step Brothers. You guys just like driving down the road in bunks. It's like, are you awake? Yeah, man, are you awake? That's so awesome, man.
Yeah.
I love that camaraderie, and I love that you're able to bring that team spirit now to the locker room for the Rich
Yeah.
Riders. It was something I at least couldn't have imagined a couple years ago that it was going to take this direction. But I love what's happening. I think it's so good for the Cowboys, for the stock contractors, for our entire world. But one thing that doesn't help when you're a hockey player to switch into bull riding are the tree trunks that you guys have for legs, right? You guys have oak
Yeah.
trees for legs because you're skating so hard
Yeah.
out there. Tell us about what that was like, adapting your body to this new sport, and what were the other things that you think made it harder for you?
Yeah, I think well, honestly, I think the hardest thing is that until I was 17, I didn't really get on practice bowls that much. Like, because we'd start hockey in middle of September, and then but there was still rodeos going on. There was still like you didn't have your finals until some of them were end of October, beginning of November. So it was kind of tough trying to balance that and pick and choose where I wanted to go as far as for when I was in the steer riding, junior bull riding, um, and it was kind of tough. And I wasn't working out for hockey when I was during the summer because I was off rodeo and going to a bunch of bull riding. So
Bunch of
you know it,
cabarets.
it well, when I was a little older, we didn't find that fake ID until a little later. But
Fair.
but it was kind of tough because whenever hockey would come up, it was always I was kind of a step behind. I wasn't in Didn't really have my cardio up. I get done a 45-second shift and I'd be bagged, and we're only halfway through the first period. I'm like, man, like I'm gonna be dying here. It took me a while to get into hockey shape, and then the bull riding would fire up, and I think the one year me and Case Thompson traveled together, and I think the entire month of June I didn't stay on anything because I hadn't been getting on. I never got on, so then I was always playing catch up, and I'd always have a good July, August, but then I knew as soon as August was done, like I had to go back to hockey. So I really only had 2 months there where I was actually doing any kind of good with bull riding. And um, but then yeah, too, like same with the tree trunks. There's only a certain amount of jeans that I can wear, and riding jeans are kind of tough to find because it's either I got to get like a 34 waist or something just so that they're baggy enough so I can sit down and be able to move on them because I still got big legs. But I didn't get them until my last year of hockey because I went to a rodeo out in Cal, Saskatchewan, and I entered the junior bull riding and the open, and I won the junior bull riding, but my open I ended up getting kind of welled, and I put my arm out, dislocated my shoulder, and that was 4 weeks before hockey. So then started playing hockey, made the team, but we go to do dryland training, and I couldn't do any of the upper body stuff. I was doing stuff just at home, but it was very minimal stuff just because we were trying to save it and not hurt it. And so basically I'd just go into the back room and they just gave me a safety bar and I just do a bunch of back squats for an hour. And all of a sudden it was like my dress pants were tight. And then I remember I went to go throw on my riding jeans to go to a bull ride. And I'm like, dang, these are tight. Like I couldn't even get them up over my ass. So yeah, still kind of battling with the big legs, but acumen's been good. I don't think I'll ever lose my big legs if I keep working out there because we're hitting legs all the time there.
Yes, sir.
That's so funny. How about the good old hockey banter, the good old trash talking? Has that converted over to the PBR teams at all? You ever walk by somebody and be like, "Holy shit, bud, you couldn't even ride a stick horse," and just keep going? Or
When I'm down there, I don't try to sound that Canadian, but there's been times where I say some stuff like I'll get to kind of chirping, but I don't really say it a lot right to people's faces. It's like we'll be watching a game or something like that. And I think this year we were at the first event and it was the Rattlers, or yeah, I think it was the Rattlers, and like they had just won the year before. They come up for their first game and we're sitting in the room watching it on the TV in the locker room, and um they didn't stay on a single bull. They bucked off all 5 bulls in their first game of the season. And I remember sitting there and I said something like, yeah, that's what you get for doing that stupid shit at your training camp or something like that. And Colby and Jenna and Keyshawn and Colton, like everybody in the locker room just started killing themselves laughing because they're like, but yeah, I kind of started bringing that in. Like the team season it gets weird because it's, especially with it having a little bit of that in the regular season too now, because you're so used to just being in the locker room with all your buddies and you kind of go back and forth about stupid stuff, but not your bull riding. You don't really go after that, but then it's like now you're kind of in there and you kind of get almost a little bit of animosity between the different teams, and you don't like certain teams and other teams you get along with good. And yeah, no, but it's fun. Like Wildcatters are fun to have a rivalry with because it's JB. Colby and JB are super close. So
Yes.
yeah, they've spent lots of time together, and yeah, they kind of like to go back and forth too. And so then I'll like to say a couple things in there too. And half
That's
the time,
phenomenal.
nobody expects what I'm saying because it's my stuff goes just way over the line half the time. But I'm like, well, that's how hockey is. Like,
Yeah,
and they're like, "You're so quick with it." I was like, "Yeah, you have to be. Like when you're playing hockey, you got to be quick. You got to be quick with the comebacks. You can't sit there and, oh man, dude, this would have been such a good one." No.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, you're just sitting there and you just look stupid. Like you just take it and you just tuck your tail between your legs. Like you got to say something back to them.
amen.
It's funny, but it's a part of the culture, right? Chirping is a part of hockey. Like you got to
Yeah,
chirp, otherwise you're not playing properly. But one of the things, one of the dynamics I wanted to talk to you about with the teams is having a coach, which is so different from you guys, right? I'm sure you have mentors
yeah.
growing up, and but you don't have a coach telling you running plays like before you go out there. What's that been like with Kobe? I know he's an amazing coach. He was an amazing cowboy, and what
Yeah.
an experience, right, to ride under him.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. He doesn't like when we bring up his old music, that's for sure, but we all really enjoy it. Um but yeah, no, it's good. Colby does a good job. He does a lot of research on the bowls when we get the bowl list, and making sure he's matching guys up, properly, and doing the best for the team. And he kind of gets a little nerdy with it. And when if you don't really know him, you wouldn't think that he gets that nerdy, but he's kind of a bit of a nerd with picking those bowls and everything for us. But it seems to work out most of the time. And it's kind of a tough year this year. We would lose games, and we'd lose it by like a point, or we'd lose it by one ride, or they get a reride or something. If for one of their harder bowls, you know, mess up in the shoot, and they'd end up getting a reride. We just kind of it was just tough luck. I think we had the fourth or fifth highest riding percentage out of all the teams, but we finished last. So, but we were missing a lot of our weapons this year. So, but yeah, no, it's cool having Colby, even just for even the individual season, just to talk to him. I remember last year I was kind of struggling, and I was coming back from an injury, and wasn't riding my best, and it was more like I was riding to lose something, not riding to win. And because I was on the verge of getting cut. And he's like, dude, it's fine if you get cut. He's like, I got cut lots. He's like, everybody's been cut. He said, you go back down and you get your shit figured out, and then you come back. And he said, and then you're back at it, and everything's easy, and you're back where you need to be. He said, it's not. He said, getting cut isn't the end of the world. It's fine. He said, it happens to everyone. Everyone's been cut eventually. So,
It's interesting
it's just
here.
nice.
It's interesting
It's just
hearing.
nice to have that from him.
Yeah, it's interesting here you say that because I wanted to, like last year at the Stampede time, watching you with the bull busting at the Calgary Stampede, you're like, I think you won $40,000+ in like 3 days
Yeah.
or something. Like it was just
Yeah.
ridiculous. You were on fire. Like it was like whatever bowl they put under you, whatever circumstances, you were gonna stick. Like it's just
Yeah.
was this before that? Like because you talked about it last year, things weren't.
Yeah.
When was
Yeah. It
this?
was like, yeah, it was like March, April time.
So is
Yeah.
that
I
what
was just,
switched? Like what made that switch?
it was that. And then also too, for me, it's just, I find that I'm always like those months, like leading up to like the middle of June through till August is like when I'm riding my best, because it's when I'm just getting on constantly. And it's really easy, I find, up here to not get too down on yourself, because the events are one day. Especially like bull busting, it's a 4 or 5 day event, but each event is its own event. So it's the next day you get to do it again, and you still got another chance at winning if you buck off. And um, that's one of the tough things for me doing the individual season, especially being from Canada, because the travel's so much harder being up here. Most of the time you got to fly out a day before, and then say it's a Saturday Sunday event. Well, most of the time the event starts at like noon there or something, but you can't fly out that night after the event. So then you got to sit there, and now you're at a hotel for 4 days, and then you get home on Monday. Well, you're normally not getting home at a super great time, so it's not like you can really do anything that day. You get home just in time for supper, really. And then you got Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday you might have to fly back out. So you're just kind of trying to catch up on all your stuff you got going on at home. You don't really have time to, try to go to a practice pen and everything like that. So, that's why my favorite time of year is July and August, because it's just, we're busy, but it's so much fun, because every event's a different event. You buck off that one, you're like, oh, well, you know what? The best thing is I got another bull riding that I'm going to tomorrow. Or it's, you know what? Yeah, I finally got a day off, but the next day I get to go to another bull riding, and you just stay busy, and it's so easy to not get down on yourself, because you're just constantly going. You're not thinking about the buck offs. You're not really thinking about winning or anything like that, because it's like you get done and it's like, all right, Kate, we'll got tomorrow now. We got another one. So, bull busting in Calgary this year, that was super fun, because it was like get done. Like I'd get done at Calgary and then I'd bust my butt over to go to bull busting. And, the I think it was the last day of bull busting, and I actually had a good one. Like I had another good one drawn to like probably win it. And that was the day that nobody stayed on except for me. And I get done doing all the autograph signings and everything that they make you do over there. And I get back to the locker room and nobody's there. And I'm like, man, I don't feel like busting my butt to get over to bull bust. And I'm just going to turn out. And so I turn out, and it was like I had Tanner Byrne calling me like within 5 minutes of when I turned out. Are you not coming? I'm like, no. He's like, why? He said, you got to come and get on this one. He said, you can't turn that one out. I was like, dude, like, I just won 23,000. Like, I'll be fine. Don't worry about it. I'm like, I'm so like, and I was so tired. That one day at bull busting that I went there after Calgary. Like, I was like, the heat just takes it out of you. Like, I think I had a quick 5-minute nap in the locker room at bull busting. Like, but it's so much fun when you're just rolling like that and you're just going.
Dang, man. And when your buddy's calling you like that, trying to talk you into it, in the back of your mind, you're like, shit, dude, I do need to go strap onto this sucker.
Yeah.
But I remember just like
Yeah.
seeing, I was like, how's he doing this? Like, it's hard enough to ride at the Calgary Stampede. You got all the nerves. It was your first time there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. First time.
For you, that's a huge thing. Hometown
Yeah.
rodeo. It's a freaking greatest rodeo on earth. And then you're going back and forth to Cody's bull bus and winning there, coming back to Calgary, winning Calgary. Like it was
Yeah.
insane.
And I think we had Panoka, and then I think we didn't even have a day off in between the Panoka short round and bull busting. I think the next day was bull busting.
Wow.
And I got whipped down pretty good in the 12 man, and my shoulder was sore, my thumb was really sore. Like I couldn't really take my wrap in the 4-man at Panoka. I had somebody else help me because I messed up my thumb on my free arm so bad. So I turned out of the first day of bull busting just because I was like, I need to take a little bit of a break for my body. And then we did that whole week of bull busting and Calgary mixed in there. And then I ripped back up to my house for 2 days. And then I drove back down to Calgary because I was flying out of Calgary to go to Oklahoma City for the first team event. And then went to the first, we had to buy the last day on the Sunday. And then, so I flew home on Sunday and I landed at noon. My wife picked me up from the airport and drove me straight to the Stampede grounds and I think the rodeo, or I think I landed at like 11:30 or something. And
I don't know how you're gonna be. Yeah, I don't know how you're gonna be able to come back. 'Cause
like
I'm watching this. I'm
Nevada was like freaking out. Like I don't know if Nick's gonna make it. I don't know if Nick's gonna make it. Like I texted Best Plug as soon as I had my gear bag because he was texting me too. Like, hey, are you good? I was like, yeah. Like, don't worry about it. I was like, yeah, got my gear bag. I'm good to go. Like, we'll see you. Like, I'll be there. Don't worry. I'm making her.
That's why we're all asking Scotty. It's like, is he gonna be here? Like Scotty's like, they said he's gonna make it. I'm like, oh dear, it's gonna be like down to the.
Yeah, it was just a flight. Yeah. It was fine. It was, and like the other thing too is like my team, like they were really good about it because when I first booked my flights, because we were in Oklahoma City, so I was trying to find a flight out early, and so I think I flew from my original flights was I was flying from Oklahoma City to DFW and then going from Dallas up to Calgary, and I think I had a 2-hour layover, an hour and a half layover or something in DFW. And they're like, we don't like that. Like we'll rent a car, and Jenna, our social media girl who's great. And they're like, and Jenna will drive you and we got you a room at the airport. And so all you got to do is just make sure you wake up in time, and at least that way you can get a little bit more sleep. And I was like, okay, perfect. Like, thanks. Like, that's awesome. So yeah, redid my flights and yeah, just had one flight. So then hopefully my bag doesn't get lost even more. So yeah, take that chance out of, losing my bag on a connection or something. So yeah, like the team was great about it too. Like they're like, yeah, like no, we want you there. Like you need to be there. And I had all my other gear with all my other sponsors because I had all my team stuff with me in Oklahoma City, and I had my wife meet me at the airport and did a quick swap over with all the gear, and yeah, showed up to Calgary showed up 45 minutes before the perf started. Like
Lots of
perfect timing.
time.
Lots
Yeah.
of time.
I'm in the bull ride and I'm the last event. Like I have lots of time,
You
like
could have taken a nap. You could have bring in. Yeah, that's amazing, man. That
I
is
had a
so.
long enough nap. I had a long enough nap on the airplane. I can sleep on airplanes pretty good now.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
crazy because to think like you just got to juggle between going to the Calgary Stampede, riding for a PBR teams event. Like you're getting literally treated like a professional athlete, driven to the airport, taken care of, set up. And it all started with the
Yeah.
shift. A little bit of the research that I found was you chose the LRA finals, which are freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But you chose the
Yeah.
LRA finals over going to a junior camp to essentially
Yeah.
sign your life away and see where it goes from there playing hockey, man. But
Yeah.
you went to the finals. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So that's 2017. So yeah, that was the year that me and Case traveled together. And Case was going off to college, and I still had another year of high school left, and because my parents held me back here just because of my late birthday. And so yeah, so I went. So that spring was the was I went to the main camp for Canmore, or the spring camp for Canmore, and they're like, like we do like our meetings after, and they talk to everyone, and everyone's meetings are pretty quick. Like you're just kind of in and out. They're like, oh, thanks for coming, blah blah blah, and then they meet with me, and they're like, like we really like you, we really want you to come to our main camp. We really want to see what you can do up against like some of the guys that are on the team, but like we really like you, and we think you'd be a really good fit here. And I was like, oh, okay, like cool, sweet. And then it was like a week later, I started rodeoing with K's, and I'm like, man, screw that hockey. Like this is so much more fun right now. Like especially playing, like when you go to junior, it's not as bad as you don't get quite the drama with all the parents, but still junior hockey, and it's kind of, who do you know, what do you know, all that kind of stuff, and a little bit more political. And so, yeah, I think I remember we were sitting down for dinner or something like that at my parents' house, and dad looks at me and he's like, man, when's Canmore's main camp's got to be coming up here pretty quick. Like, we got to get you signed up for that. And I was like, oh, yeah, about that. And he's like, what? I was like, yeah, I actually decided that I'm going to go to the LRA finals instead. And he's like, they're on the same weekend? And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, he said, well, you should probably you should go to the Canmore's camp. Like, it's kind of, cool opportunity. You said you can go to the LRA finals next year. I was like, no, there's like 5,000 around, 5 rounds in a saddle. I was like, no, I think I want to go do that. He's like, okay. And it was one of the weekends that they were out at their cabin. Like all of our friends were going out to the cabin and everything like that. And he's kind of upset that I picked that over the main camp. And so I show up to the LRA finals and then end up, just kind of drawing good, doing good. And then all of a sudden it came down. It was me and Lyndon Roloff, who's actually my wife's farrier. And so he comes over to the house all the time, and he said, yeah, that pissed me off when you beat me. He said, I thought I had it won after I stayed on my last one. I was like, but so we always talk about that. But and then yeah, I ended up staying on my last one, and I was like, damn, I just won. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. I can't wait to text Dad and tell him like, hey, I made the right decision because I won. and he just texted me back like, oh, good job. And my mom's like, oh, I'm so proud of you, so proud of you. And like, that's just good job. I'm like, that's how Dad always is. Like, he's just like, good job, now keep your head down, go to the next one kind of thing. So, yeah, no, it was cool. It was cool. I liked it. I definitely think I made the right decision as far as going there. Because I think, I also think too, I probably would have got beat up pretty good at the main camp because I don't think I touched a weight or did any sort of training for hockey. leading up to it, I was just bull riding. I'm like, yep, if I make the finals, then I don't got to go to the main camp.
Nick, tell us, just hearing you say that to tell your dad, it gave me butterflies because when you told the story about riding the steer for the first time, I can definitely find moments in my life when I was a kid and my dad told me to do things and I looked up to him so much that I did it, even though I was so scared just to please him, right? And your
Yeah,
dad loved hockey. You told the story about how he didn't let you watch the gold medal game so you could go practice.
yeah.
What was it like building up that moment where you had to tell your father, hey, I'm picking rodeo instead of hockey? I'm just thinking to myself, it would have been like terrible few weeks there to tell dad.
Yeah, well, I think because it was like the finals, like you entered it, like you had to enter it like a month or two or a month earlier or something like that. Like it was kind of like one of those ones where it's not like 2 weeks before. It's kind of you got lots of time before, and so and I knew they were kind of coming on this. They were on the same weekend, but like I wasn't thinking about hockey at all. I was just like, oh yeah, let's get entered up and let's make sure we're entered up for the finals. And then it was like I looked at the schedule and I'm like, oh damn, that's the same weekend as the camp. I'm like, okay, well, like I'm just like maybe he'll just forget about it. I don't know why I thought he would think he would forget about it. We spent basically 17 years at a rink, kind of rooting for that, trying to make a junior team kind of thing. And yeah, I was like, I'll just wait till he brings it up because I don't want to. I'm not gonna straight up just tell him. I'm like, I'll wait for him, but he was pretty good about it. Like, he was definitely, I think, a little upset over the fact that I didn't go to the main camp because my mom always told me that dad's goal was never to get me to the NHL, but it was just like he just wanted me to go play junior. He wanted me to go live somewhere, go play hockey somewhere, and just kind of try to get the best experience that I could. But it was kind of one of the big turning points was actually my grandpa. He was born out in Hannah, and he was a cowboy, but he ended up moving to the city so that he could have a better job and support all the kids and everything like that. But he was always more proud of the fact that I was getting on steers and being a steer rider, and my mom always told me that out of all of his grandkids, none of them chose rodeo. They all chose hockey. So he was always way more excited to go watch anytime I was in a rodeo or something like that than to go watch me play hockey. And so that's kind of one of the big pushers that actually pushed me to go and keep doing it, because I was like, well, that's what Papa really liked was the rodeo. So, but it was also too, it's just me. I just enjoyed it way more. And yeah, it was definitely a little nerve wracking. I was like, I'm gonna wait till he brings it up, and I'm not gonna bring it up first.
Oh, I can see that. Like that would have been me. And then it would
Yeah,
have been like an awkward silent dinner where it's like, so you're not going to the
it
camp?
was.
Yeah.
It was straight up like it was like, and like there's only 4 seats, and I'm sitting right next to him, and I'm just like, I'm like, I'm just gonna get my food in me, and like go back to my room or something. Like, you go back downstairs, watch your TV. I said, I'll be upstairs. Like, we'll just get some space from each other. Like, it was, yeah, I was like, this is so weird now. I'm like, because it was like first thing, like as soon as we sat down, he asked. I was like, oh, he couldn't wait until the end.
Yeah, sitting there cutting his steak. So, Nicholas, have you thought about your decision?
Yeah, yeah,
Dude, that's crazy because
but
you got a cousin in the NHL, correct, Ryan Smith?
he's like he's my second or third cousin. My auntie, my dad's sister, married his uncle.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, um, all of those, all of my cousins on that side, they're all actually pretty close to him, but they're also way older than me, so they were a little closer to him. But yeah, I remember we never really went when he was playing for Edmonton, but then I remember we went and met him the one time when he was playing for LA, and we all went to Calgary and watched him, and then got to meet him after, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's sweet. So a bit of a connection there, right?
Yeah, I
To
still
where
I
it
still
could
like
go.
to say I had a cousin in the NHL. It's not by blood or anything, but
Yeah,
it still counts,
that's
you
awesome.
know? Yeah. I'm
Absolutely.
like, it still counts. Yeah,
No, that's
Hundred
fucking
gotta
percent.
brag
amazing.
somehow.
I would I
Gotta
would
brag
definitely say
somehow.
that. Yeah, if that was any relation to me, even if he wasn't a cousin, he lived down the street, be like, that's my cousin, man. We
Yeah,
cousins.
yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about PBR 2024, buddy. Like you were just breaking records like it was your job. 153,000 earned inside Rogers Place, $250,000 during the regular season. Like what happened? Like what you were on Fuego, win your second PBR title. What do you attribute all that success to?
Uh, well, I think part of it is with the teams and getting on the bulls down there. Like they're so much faster. Like our bulls up here are strong. They're big. They're powerful. But with big and power comes a little bit like they slow down a little bit more. But the bulls down there, they're so fast that I get on the bulls up here, and I knew how to deal with the power, but it was like it was just in slow motion for me. So that was a big thing. But Cover Chuck had started off the year so hot that you had to either it was kind of like a fit in or fuck off moment. Like you either step up or just kind of quit going. And I think it was June. We were in June. I think it was June 14th. We were in Humboldt, Saskatchewan after the PBR there, and Cover Chuck won that event again. And it was like he had won a bunch. And I said to Covey, I was like, after the event, I was like, dude, we should honestly just give Cover Chuck the title already. Like, what he's done, I'm like, it's insane. I'm like, I can't believe, like, no one's going to be able to catch him. And then we were driving home that night, and Chance is like, honestly, he said, I think the only person who can catch him is you. Like, and like, I wasn't that, I think I was maybe fifth or sixth. Like, I hadn't had a good spring at all. Like, I was still kind of struggling coming back from my injury and struggling riding. And then all of a sudden it was like Panoka PBR, and I won that. And I'm like, yeah, all right, we're good. Like, let's get going. Like, this is a busy time. I'm like, this is when I can make up some ground here. And yeah, basically, since I said took their names out of the hat because they were second guessing themselves, and they're like, you know what, we'll just focus on pro rodeo this year and come back to the PBR and worry about that. But for me, I knew I could go to the CFR because it was the same weekend as our home event for the Ridge Riders, and I'm like, I'm not gonna miss our home event. Our home event is so sick. Like, I'm definitely gonna be there. So for me, I knew I wasn't. I just went to some pro rodeos because I was traveling with Chance, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna say I'm traveling with you and then be like, nah, you know what? I'm only gonna go to Panoka again. Like, I'll go to a couple pro rodeos with you, but and yeah, it was just kind of one of them things where it was like I just had to level up to try to keep up with him. And then it was he got hurt, and then but when he got hurt, it was also kind of the time when I was supposed to start going back down to the States for the team stuff. So I knew like his injury wasn't going to be that devastating for him for the season, because I knew I had to start missing events here pretty soon. And then I got hurt at a practice pen right before I was able to go back, and then didn't really go to too many team events, and kind of came back up here, and it was just kind of everything it was like this year. It was like there was that greater plan, and everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
And I think part of the reason why our team maybe didn't have that great of a year is because I needed to make sure that I was back for the Medicine Hat Cup event, which I ended up winning. But it was also the same weekend as the team finals. And if we wouldn't have got eliminated at the South Point on Thursday, I wouldn't have been able to make it to Medicine Hat. We would have been at T-Mobile on Friday and Saturday. So, it's crazy to look back at the year, because even I think it was last night or 2 nights ago, me and Maddie were looking at some videos from this year, and she watched a video from Czar, and she was like, I can't believe you bucked off that thing at Marwayne this year in the springtime. I'm like, yeah, it's crazy, because you look at that and then you look at the rest of the season I had.
Yeah.
If you'd have told me at Marwayne, hey, you're going to go on this crazy run, you're going to set all these records, I'd have told you there ain't no way you're high or something. Like there's, I don't know what you're on, but I want some of it, because there's that, you can't be delusional. Like there's no way I can win if I'm bucking off stuff like this. But yeah, it was a crazy year. Yeah, I don't really know what contributed to it. Cover Chuck was just riding so good. It was like you had to step up if you wanted to even be in a conversation. And my goal was just to roll into the finals, just to have a shot. Like not me and him the last couple of weeks going back and forth, just to have a shot, because I didn't think I was going to get close enough to him just with regular season points. I thought I'd need some of those points at the finals to actually pass him.
Dude, yeah, that's crazy. Rose to the occasion like a phoenix, rose from the ashes. Started spurring bulls. Man, it said here your PBR earnings are $498,000, dude. That's a ton of money from riding bulls. You're getting on so many. How are you handling the recovery between like the flights coming in and out of these Ridge Rider deals and stuff? What are you doing for recovery?
Yeah, so for the most part, like I just go into Acumen, and they've done a pretty good job of making sure that the injuries that I get are stuff that's not preventable. It's, getting stepped on, getting cheese grated in the bucket chute or something like that, just making sure that what is getting, like when we are getting hurt, it's not, we're not tearing groins, we're not ripping shoulders out or anything like that. So, they do a good job of making sure that my body is working quickly. A lot of the times, like I'll go in and get worked on for an hour, kind of get all the sore stuff figured out. And then we go and do a lift for an hour. And most of the time during the season, we're not really lifting heavy. We're just lifting really quick. And before the finals, we were doing a lot of sprinting drills. I looked at Mike, I was like, dude, I'm a bull rider. I'm not running. Like, I'm not trying to be a football. Like, I feel like I'm training for the NFL combine right now. I'm like, and I was gassed after doing all of them, because I'm like, I'm not doing cardio because I only work for 8 seconds. Like, so it's not like I need that long being able to run for miles and miles. Like, I haven't ran a mile in probably like 2 years, just because they told me I didn't need to. But yeah, but they're really good about it. And then my wife, we just got a MagnaWave, so she's got her MagnaWave business. So I've been throwing that on my wrist since New York, coming back from New York, and anything else that has been bothering me. And then I just bought a pair of Normatec boots with the air compression stuff.
Nice.
Cool.
So yeah, I got home last night from a practice pen and just threw them on the legs just for fun. I wasn't sore or anything, but I'm like, oh, well, it can help, and they feel unreal. So I'll just sit in the living room and be playing video games with my boots on, just getting a nice therapy session. So, but I'll get done talking to you guys. I got my pre-workout made with my creatine, and I'll go down to Maddie's parents' house and go work out there, and then get back up here and figure out what else I want to do for the rest of the day. But
Life of a Pro Bowl
working
rider.
out, making sure the body's moving right, and then normally after supper time, I go get on my barrel for 15 minutes and get everything dialed in on that, and kind of get a good routine going. Right now during the summertime, it's a little different. It's not kind of getting the acumen whenever I can, or if I heard something, then I'm like, I call Leanne. I'm like, hey, I need to get in tomorrow. She's like, we're booked. I'm like, well, you know what? When I first started here, I could get in all the time. Now I can barely get in. Like, I'm like, I'm going to quit telling people to call you guys and come in, because it's screwing me up.
Soon enough, Nick will have the 1 star on Google.
Yeah, no, I left him a 5-star review. That place is unreal. Like and what changed it for me was I was working out with Champion Living, and I really liked working with those guys. And
yes, sir. They have a great program.
And it was
for,
nothing
rodeo cowboys.
Yeah, and it was nothing against them. It was just I went to bull riding, and I got my foot kind of got stuck under this bull's armpit, and it kind of pulled on my groin, And it was my groin that I already had tore. I tore a piece of muscle actually right off, and it rolled right up into my pelvic place. So it looks like I just have a big ball of muscle there.
Whoa.
And
So you
so I
got
was
three
freaking out.
balls? Is
I'm
that what
like,
you're telling me?
Yeah.
almost. This one's
No
way bigger
wonder,
though,
bro. It's
because it
not
was a
fair
lot of
competing
muscle.
against you. This guy's got 3 balls for God's sakes.
But yeah, so I went to one of the spring training camps that Acumen was doing with Sports Med, and so I had the I had Leanne's number, and so I just texted her, said, "Hey, can I just get in to get you to take a look at my groin?" And she's, "Yeah, okay." And so she's kind of feeling around, and she's like, "I don't like your groin seems fine." And then she hits this one spot, and she's like, "Oh, is that it?" And I'm like, "Yep, that's a zinger." And she follows it all the way up, and it wasn't even my groin. It was a muscle. It connects on the inside of your knee, and it attaches on the outside of your hip. And
Oh.
it was like, and she's like, I'm like, okay, well, what do we do for that? And she's like, well, we got to get your glutes working because your groins are overworking, and so that's what's causing all the strain. And I'm like, okay. And so I think it was like that day I texted my trainer, I texted Logan from Champion Living. I was like, hey man, like nothing against you guys. It's just I live an hour from them. I can go in and go see them. I can get worked on and work out there, and they can send me programs too. I'm like, still like I'm pretty much doing the same workouts that I was doing from them, and I'm paying a little bit more at Acumen at the time. Now I'm sponsored by them, so it's not too bad. But you know, it's just I just get that extra level of care from them. Especially, I think if I was living 3 or 4 hours away, it might be a little different. I might just go into Acumen just to go get worked on if I need to. But when I only live an hour away, it's super easy to just rip in, and half the time we need groceries anyway. So it's just a day in the city. I do all the grocery shopping and get all that out of the way at the same time.
No way, eh? Professional bull rider.
Yeah.
Nick buying groceries. That'd be
Buying
so,
his own
imagine running into
groceries.
Nick at the grocery store. Be like, hey, what's up,
Oh
bro?
yeah, I'm best too because I walk every aisle, like especially in Costco, because I have no idea where anything is. Even though I go in all the time, I still have no idea where anything is. So I walk every aisle. And impulse. I am a lot like my dad. I am a consumer at heart,
Are you
and so
just getting like
I
random
keep this
stuff?
economy afloat. Oh
Oh,
yeah,
you
like I'll just buy random
like
stuff.
hearing
Like
aids. I need hearing aids. This is perfect. This I'll just buy
yeah,
these.
batteries are on sale. Not better get some batteries.
Next
Or
week on
it's
Hoarders, Nick
yeah,
Tetz.
yeah. They had smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors.
Oh my
We already
God.
have them, but they
Wow.
were on sale. And I was like, damn, you get a pack of two
You
each.
can't
I was
have
like,
too
damn. I'm
many
like, that's
smoke
a good
detectors.
deal. I'm
100%.
like, yeah. So they're still sitting in the house. Like we haven't even opened them yet. I got them like 2 years ago. So
Wow,
yeah, like
that's so
I do all
funny.
I'm really good at grocery shopping. I do a great job. You can ask my wife.
All right,
That's
all
so
right.
funny.
We're
I'm
gonna have
not
to.
good at making the list, but I'm good at going and getting everything. Sometimes when I first started, I wasn't that good. There's like that Tiger King thing where it's like I called for help twice.
Yeah.
And not a fuck you, what are you doing? Nothing. And that's how I felt when I was I remember I was in Costco. I think I called Maddie like 5 times within 2 minutes. Like, okay, what is this? Like, I have no idea what this is. Like, you send me a picture. I needed like the where she prints off like this is the grocery list, and it's just a picture of everything that I need because that's the only way I could find it.
Dude, in
Yeah,
Costco's, they love to have no service in their building, so they trap you in there. And then you do
Really?
end
yeah,
up
I know.
buying way more than you need.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's brutal,
They keep you from
but you
talking
get
to
it
your
in bulk,
spouse.
so it's fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Maybe you should start running Uber Eats runs, bro. Make some extra income right off the
No, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. The bull riding's taking care of that enough. Like, I'll just make sure I stay on
Yeah.
more bulls next time.
For sure, buddy. And you're doing an
Yeah.
amazing job at it. Nick, I want to thank you for your time getting to the end of the episode here. Cole's going to ask you the final question of the episode that we ask everyone. But I see those beautiful shiny buckles back there. I got to ask, what's the most special one? If you had to pick one, which one would you pick and why?
It's the one that's not even. It's not even. It never goes in the buckle case. Actually, it just stays on my belt. It's from the Glen Keely in 2021, and I double entered it at the time, and showed up there. and because they also do that spur award, because Glenn was known for spurring bulls.
Yes, sir.
And so I double entered it, got on 2 long round bulls. They both went left, and I spurred both of them. I got 4 pictures from each 4 of the bulls that I got on, and all 4 of them I'm spurring them. And then I ended up winning first and second at it. So for me, the way that I went about doing it and winning that event, I think it was the most dominant performance I've ever had on the back of a bull. And the one judge, he said, I think I got on one bull or something, and they're like, yeah, well, Nick definitely won the spur award. And he's like, he won it 3 times. The only reason he didn't win it on the 4th one is because he didn't spur that one as hard as he spurred the other ones.
Wow.
And then it was also too, it was it was the last year that they had it out at the ranch too, because during COVID they moved it out to the ranch. So they had it out at the ranch, and the whole time the bull riding was going on, there was clouds all over the place, and it was cloudy and gloomy, but there was always, you could see the sun shining from the hill in the back, which is where Glenn's ashes and his parents' ashes were all spread. And yeah, it was such a cool experience. And it was after that event, that was the first time that I went from, I think I was sitting 5th at Canada at the time, and I went and did that, and I was sitting first after that. And that was it kind of gave me the confidence to be able to know that I could compete with the likes of Dakota Butters, Zane Lambert, Aaron Roy, Coverchuck, all those guys that were perennial contenders for a Canadian title. And I knew I could throw my name in the hat too. So yeah, that's the most special one. And that's the one that never leaves my belt. The only time it leaves is when I win one, like my Canadian title or something, and I'll throw it on and wear it to the bar that night. But then the next morning I'm switching it out and putting the Glen Keely one back on. So
I love that story, buddy. Thanks for sharing that.
That one hits the heart, doesn't it? You got to love those.
Yeah,
sweet, dude. Yeah. Well, our last question, we are the Should Have Been a Cowboy podcast. So we like to ask our guests, what kind of cowboy would you be since you already are a cowboy? We switch the question up and go, okay, since you are a cowboy, what would you be if you were not a cowboy? And I'm going to jump you real quick, and you can't say hockey player.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's going to say hockey player.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think if you ask my wife, she'd probably say that I'm not a cowboy. If the way I ride some of her horses, she gets a little mad at me sometimes. She had to teach me how to start riding horses. So I say if I wasn't a cowboy, or yeah, what I would do if I wasn't a cowboy, I'd say for the longest time, I thought I was going to be an architect. I don't know why. I just really, like when I was younger, I really liked the HGTV channel. Mm-hmm. And I'd sit there and I'd watch Leave It to Brian and all those home renovation shows. And yeah, I think I'd be designing houses or something like that.
Badass.
Nothing crazy. Like I don't want to be doing skyscrapers or nothing. I just want to be doing like cool houses. Like, you want a putting green in there and golf simulator or something, or you want a pool or hockey rink or something. Like, yeah, I could do that. Like that'd be sick. Or put a bull riding arena in there or something. Or yeah. I think I'll go with that.
I love this. Man. I love this.
Yeah,
I love it. Architect,
I don't know what.
We get answers we wouldn't expect. Josh Frost said he wanted to be a teacher. I'm like, what? I'm like, this makes no sense. Like, I would never expect you to say that. But
yeah, my childhood best friend, actually, he was my best man at my wedding, and he told me, he said, you know what, you'd be a really good PE teacher. I was like, what? Like, who shoots to be a PE teacher? I was like, yeah, I think that'd be fun, especially like I'd probably make it to where it's every week we're playing floor hockey. And I could just like walk around all the kids, but that'd be about it. Like, or dodgeball. We'd be playing dodgeball every day.
Dude, I can't help but think about what Jack Black says about PE teachers. He goes, those who can't do, teach. And those who can't teach gym.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, he was always like, yeah, you'd be a great gym teacher. I was like, I'm not sure if that's a compliment or if it's nice. Or if like you genuinely mean that. Like,
have you ever seen
I think it might be a bit of a dig.
D?
Mr. D?
Yeah, when he gets the kids out there to play floor hockey and he just levels that kid and he's like, you got to keep your head up, kid.
Yeah, you got to keep your head up. Yeah, that was a good show.
Freaking funny.
Never watched it, boys. Got to watch it.
Yeah,
But
it's a good one.
best of luck, buddy. Best of luck this year for you, and we can't wait to see you at the top again like last year, buddy.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yes,
You
sir.
bet.
Thank you.
Take it easy.
Amazing interview. What a great kid, eh?
Oh my God, man. Yeah. And like you were saying, he's really come on hot onto the scene. Good guy, good bull rider. I'm
Great bull
excited
rider.
I wanted to ask him if an NFR debut has ever crossed his mind.
Ooh.
I forgot to slip that in.
That's a good question. I was gonna ask that as well because he won so much money in Calgary, right? I was like, did you ever think about making the push for?
Yeah, man. Get that
Yeah.
PRCA card bought just in case you have a good Calgary, and next thing you know, you got 40, 50 G's going
Bro,
towards
changes
it. Like,
everything, right? In
Mhm.
July, you still got so much of the year to chase and make those big checks. But that's something we're gonna have to ask him in part two. We'll have to do a part two with him as well.
Dang it, another one? That's cool with me.
Another one. All right, buddy. But great job. And who's next?
Dude, that's a great question.
Only God knows.
And we do want to say a little shout out here. Our man Felipe is going to be getting married here soon. This is exciting.
hitched.
How about you give us a little bit of deets? Where are you going for that? And what's that look like?
That's something I was gonna ask him. Be like, hey, bro, I'm about to get married. Give me some, give me some words of
Give me
advice
some
here.
tips.
Help me. Is it too late to run away? It's funny because every guy you talk to, they just take it to that. It's like, oh, sorry to hear. Like, why?
Yeah, right away.
Everything's
Ball
gonna
and
change.
chain.
I'm like,
Yep.
man, I've lived with her for like so long now. Like, what's gonna change? He's like, don't worry, it's gonna change. I'm like, well, thanks, bro. Like, but no, man, I'm super excited. We're gonna get married in Patagonia, which is where we met. Clarita and I met 8 years ago now when I was crossing that region of the world in Argentina, headed towards Ushuaia, which was my point on my second journey. And yeah, her parents took me in, stole the farmer's daughter, and now to get to tie the knot in such a special part of the world. I love Patagonia. It's so beautiful, and where we met is gonna be super awesome. My family still hasn't met her family because my family
Oh.
lives in Sao
Mhm.
Paulo, Brazil. Her family's in Patagonia. It's super far, so I'm really excited about that as well. Just bringing the families together. It's gonna
Meet
be
the
a
Fockers.
yeah, exactly. No volleyball in the pool. That's what we're gonna make sure. No one's
Dude,
nose gets broken.
I feel like you and Clarita's love could be a sitcom, and I want your part to be played by Matthew McConaughey. It would be the greatest little rom-com.
Oh my God, it'd be so good. But yeah, buddy, we're excited. Tie the knot, and yeah, I'll let you know all about it. Share some photos and pics along the way.
Yeah, man, we're excited for you. We're happy for you. We love you and Clarita.
Love you,
So
buddy.
make sure you guys keep tuning in. Check out the podcast on YouTube. It's on Spotify, Apple, all that stuff. And check out our social media to keep up to date with what the heck's going on. Alrighty,
Yes,
brother?
sir. Yeah, buddy. I can't wait till next time, which will be a big interview, but we can't tell you guys yet. But you guys will enjoy it.
See you the next one. Yee!